Something horrific happens to a woman in the UK, and what happens? All the celebrities come out against all men, because apparently it's not just one man that does the bad deed, it's all men. And the funny thing is, this bloke that's suspected of murdering, I believe her name is Sarah Everard. Yeah, Sarah Everard. This bloke's a police officer, so he's a bloke, but he's also a person in a position of significant power, and apparently he's used that power to tempt this lady into his car. I'm guessing due to the coronavirus and things like that. Obviously, she's taken the guidance of this police officer and he's essentially done what he said, and then obviously the worst thing you could ever possibly imagine has happened. So anyway, as a response to this, everyone seems to have just gone completely mental. Mostly women, although there are a few blokes jumping in on it as well, as you'd expect from the woke crowd. Right, so let's switch over to this article. Well, I say article, it's not an article, sorry. So, celebrities are out in force, as you'd expect. You got Laura Paddington. This week is so unrelentingly bleak, I can't stop thinking about Sarah Everard and all the women who are sharing stories of harassment, assault and violence. Yeah, because every time something happens, everyone else has to explain how much of a victim they are. They can't just be sad for one person where something horrific and incredibly monstrous has happened to them. They have to come out and tell them, "Oh, this is what happened to me. A man followed me home," which is horrible. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, come on. It's about this one girl where something horrific's happened. It doesn't mean that everyone else is a victim all simultaneously. We all have these stories, and it's so horribly normalised. No, it's not normalised. Fucking blokes are always. If you see a creepy guy in a room, part of being a man is to tell him, right, stop being creepy now. Go and sit down. Go, leave the women alone. Walk away. Anyway, moving on to Natalie Emmanuel. Always someone with a fantastic take when it comes to the male and female. I have written and deleted so many tweets about Sarah Everard because I didn't know what to say. I'm just so angry. I am angry her full, beautiful life, you obviously seem to know a lot about this woman, do you know her personally, was snatched away from her, which, yes, it's true, it shouldn't have happened, horrible, horrible thing. I'm angry because there are many people who have blamed her. Well, I haven't seen anyone blaming her, although I would suppose that it is unwise to walk home alone at night. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to do that. I'm just saying in a perfect world you could, but we don't live in a perfect world. There are creepy people out there. There are horrible people. Anyway, continuing with the tweet. And I am angry we know her name because of the violence of a man again. Okay, so what was this woman murdered twice now? I mean, the odds of getting murdered by a man are obviously higher for women. It goes without saying, because men are more, in terms of personality, in terms of their mental, the way that men are built, obviously with testosterone, they're more disproportionately inclined to criminality. We know that for a fact. I mean, look at all the prisons. I think it's some ridiculous figure, like 85 or 90% of people in prisons are men, and that goes everywhere. It's a universal. So obviously, yeah. And I mean, you've got a 50% chance of it being a man or a fucking woman. Violence of a man again. It's always men, so everyone's going to pile onto the men now. Every single woman I know is overwhelmed by the Sarah Everard. This is Rebecca Reed, obviously some bit of a chunky lady there. Every single woman I know is overwhelmed by the Sarah Everard story. It's the thing they teach us to be afraid of. Who's teaching? No, it's teaching to be wary of. Be wary of people. You can't trust anyone that you don't know. And if you do trust people you don't know, you're a moron. So that woman that went backpacking through Iran, I went back, and then she ended up getting killed. And it's like, you're not bloody surprised. You're in Iran. You're a woman from the West alone in Iran. When did you think that was a good idea? It's proof that we're not afraid for no reason. No one should walk out on their own. Well, I say no one. If you're a big 6'8" bloke, even then, everyone is susceptible to being harmed. But at any point, any time. It's not just women. It's women and men. Let's move to this Molly Goodfellow, this fresh-faced young lady. The discussion around Sarah Everard makes me so sad about how normalised for women things like personal safety are, and men. I mean, if you're a little 5'6" skinny bloke, you're just as at risk. I remember a man following me as I was walking home, asking for my number once. Oh, he tried to ask you out, did he? And I was like, oh great, now I have to take a detour so he doesn't know where I live. So, someone asking you out or making advances is a very different thing to someone trying to murder you under the guise of being a police officer. I mean, this is an abuse of power. This isn't necessarily a reflection on all men, as these people seem to be putting out. Anyway, let's look at the government response for this, the absolute ridiculousness coming out of Wales and Mr. Mark Drakeford. So he is actually, First Minister Mark Drakeford said any proposed curfew on men wouldn't be on the top of the list, but he's considering it, because apparently if a criminal hears about a 6 p.m. curfew and he was planning on going out and murdering someone, he go, oh no, you're going out murdering tonight, Kev? No, there's a 6 p.m. curfew now. I'll break some laws, but I do draw a line at a curfew. What a ridiculous idea. All men at 6 p.m. What happens if your gas goes out and the gas man can't come round because it's 6:10? How ridiculous have you got to be? 6 p.m. curfew, Jesus. Anyway, so this is just some of the ridiculous woke crap that's happening, and all the virtue signalling that usually goes along with it, off the back of International Women's Day, where everyone's talking about equality claims, which are just absolutely farcical. Oh, what is it? Oh, there's a wage gap between men and women because women give birth. It's like, yes, they do, but they're also part of a partnership. It's a man and a woman paying. It's not just the bloke picks up the slack. Well, should I say the slack? Because she's opted to do something really honourable and a beautiful part of life and give birth to a baby. So this bloke has to go out and work his arse off to pay for another member of the family, another mouth to feed. Yeah, he never gets any thanks. This woman's career's been impeded by bringing life into the world. Like, that's not some sort of honourable pursuit. And why are men and women always pitted against each other like there's some sort of competition? They're teams. Throughout history, there's not been conflict between men and women. Like Jordan Peterson said, it's men and women working together against the cruelties of life to continue the species and to live in less suffering than is absolutely necessary. But these people, they've got to view it through this weird, like, men and women are diametrically opposed. They can't exist in the same world together, let alone be partners. What a ridiculous. It just annoys me profoundly. These people are just. Baroness Jenny Jones wants men off the street. Well, you're not in trouble, love. No one's coming after you. Jesus. Looks like Wurzel Gummidge. For anybody that doesn't know, that's a scarecrow from a TV show from a long, long time ago in Britain. I don't want to leave the house at the moment. You know what happened. Makes me very worried. Yes. This could happen any point, any time. The world is not a safe place. So taking precautions is a natural response to these sorts of things, and you should always be watching over your shoulder, always be careful of who you're interacting with, and just be mindful of your own safety. That's all it takes. And sometimes these things happen and they go horribly wrong, and God forbid that they should ever happen to anyone else, but they do. The answer is not keeping men off the street from 6 p.m. at night. Don't be bloody ridiculous. Anyway, right, this is me signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.